Welcome back, mere mortalites, to a 2024 year in review. I'm going to be releasing this one in 2025. In fact, it is the 2nd of January 2025 when I'm recording this one. But I've done my note taking prior to this. If you've been listening or watching to the Mere Mortals for a little while now, you probably know that myself and Karen don't do annual goals and general planning from a calendar year perspective. We actually do it from the particular days that we just picked quite a few years ago. For me, it's on my birthday. For Karen, it's in September period, I believe it is. But I thought, regardless, I'm going to review back the 2024, the year it was. It's generally pretty handy in terms of just by the calendar year. There's a lot of sequences and seasons that happen, both genuine seasons, summer, winter, but seasons of our life. And over the last year and a bit more, I've also become a dad. I've changed up the way that I train. I've been doing a lot of different things from a work perspective. And I thought, it'll be nice to just reflect back on that particular year. So I've got 5 big things that I've sort of taken out from my notes and the things that I've pulled away as sort of learnings and year in review. And I thought, look, might be worth sharing. It's something that I found interesting, at least for myself, to then take forward. And it's also likely something that maybe other people out there will find handy. And then I got a couple of quotes, which I'll kind of talk about later as to how I actually brought them up. Now, I actually saw a post. It was literally just before I started doing this recording, and I wanted to bring it up. It was good old Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. He put up this post, and I was going to mute this so it doesn't come through the actual mic. But he made a little comment. He was doing a New Year post, as he does to any sort of the big things. But he actually says, 2025's music has begun. Set your intentions, move with humility, control the controllables, and starve the negative noise. So you probably see a lot of people looking ahead into the future. There's a bit of that post that he did, which is a bit of a retrospective look back on what had happened and what we thought about 2024. That's sort of got me in the groove as to why I wanted to do this, why I sort of in that path. So without further ado, let's talk about the 5 things sort of pulled away from 2024, at least from my side. Expand upon it, and then we'll talk some quotes, and hopefully you'll get something from that as well. The immortal lights. Embracing the day with a bit of discipline. So a couple of my notes in here was a reminder, something from Alex Hormozy. Success is in the reps, and I found that quite largely in my workouts. From the very beginning of the year, January, February, March, I was able to set a pretty good, consistent pace around the discipline of what I was doing. As the 2024 sort of carried on towards the tail end of it, it became even more pronounced in terms of the discipline to do certain things, definitely in the gym context. Now, as an example, at the very beginning of the year, I was probably waking up around 5 a.m., 4:30 a.m., so it didn't really differ between Monday through to Friday, Saturdays and Sundays. It was sometimes a little bit later. There was more of a sleep in. I shouldn't say sleep in. It was right along with the timing of my not chronological, but just the timing of my sleep. It was quite nice. I'm an early riser, and so it sort of paired quite nicely. But towards as 2024 carried on, and a few things came up, not challenges, but just obstacles to attack. I found myself just shifting it a little bit towards the left, doing it a little bit earlier, and that was a challenge. But I had to embrace, I guess, that discipline of, okay, well, it's dictating now that I'm going to get up a little bit earlier because I want to get X, Y, and Z done. Why I was getting up earlier, and this is what I'm kind of like reflecting back. Is it good that now where we stand right now, Mondays have become my really, really early morning wake ups, 3 a.m., 3:30. Thursdays are relatively early, and then the rest of the days are what I consider my normal, but it's 4:30 in the morning. But it's still the discipline to continue to do that has been not, I wouldn't say fun. It's just been, I've embraced the doing that because it's in the morning, so I can get a lot of my work done as a dad. And I'll talk about that in my next point. I've just found I can get my training and a lot of work done in the morning. Then it gives me a big chunk of the day to either do some of the other work that I'm doing, but also spend a lot of time with my family, specifically my daughter, as she is of younger age. She also, particularly interesting, I don't know if she's picked this up from me or where it's coming from, but she's also a very early sleeper and very early riser. So I've got to try to beat that as well. Now, the second one that I noted down from a year in review as well, and maybe something that people listening to this might have taken away or found as well, For me, I found that family was at its core, right? It remained my constant rhythm. Before my daughter was born, I made a big list. I kept it on OneNote. I still look at it every now and again. And I kind of set out the challenge of, not challenge, I set out some notes as how exactly did I want to participate? How did I want to act in the world? How did I want to act with her around being a dad, being someone that I wanted to be connected? What would it mean to be a good dad, to be there? And there's a whole host of notes. Maybe at a later point, I might talk about that. Probably need a few more time on my belt to actually talk genuinely as to how much that's paired up and how it's connected, etc. But the the year found myself being, it's the presence, the being present in the presence of being there around my daughter and the family. There was a lot of, and this kind of maps up with my annual goals of relationships and being better at key relationships versus the quantity of relationships that I want. Maybe said another way, a lot more quality over the quantity, and family was very much at its core, in above other things. So 2024 really did show me, as a bit of a review, that's where I spend a lot of my time. It's where I care the most. It's where I want to spend more time. Obviously, leading into 2025 is where I'm going to continue spending more of my time. It means more saying yes to being around my family, going to the park, spending those extra hours with my daughter, as opposed to spending an extra hour doing a recording of an idea that came up. The funny thing is, I get a ridiculous amount of ideas, be it business, be it content, be it whatever else. And I just normally, even if I was a solo dude, I still wouldn't have enough time to go and do all of those things. Now my time's compressed. There's more things that are dependent on me, or at least competing for my time, or of a higher priority, and that's okay. And I just realized and want to continue to propel that forward. Family is at its core, and 2024 showed me that. I think 2025 is going to be very similar as well. I guess talking about roles, third one, balancing multiple roles. It was a fine balancing act this year. I haven't particularly talked about this in depth, and maybe I won't for a while yet to talk about all of the various things. But roles like the one I just talked about, being that, roles like running a business, like doing the podcast, like helping our friends, being an advisor, doing day-to-day jobs, all of these various things came to play in 2024. And it's a fine balance to be able to do a variety of those things. Tim Ferriss, always talks about, or talks about, doing the things that truly matter and eliminating the rest of the other things. Why? If you try to put yourself to doing 100 things, maybe you do two, okay, 98 of them barely passable. Is that going to be very memorable? Is it going to be remembered? Is it going to be epic? Is it going to be something that escalates up to higher levels of your eminent human being? Probably not. Probably not. But you're doing them, right? And there's a difference between doing them and just taking it by the balls and doing it as well as you can for a particular thing. I found that there was a balance in through the year of 2024. It probably came to a few places where I was doing tasks that didn't really truly matter, and I had to eliminate a few of those. 2025, I'm probably gonna have to cull more out of that. The reality is, if I want to be really, really exceptional at a few of those things, one of those roles is being a dad included, right? And to do that, that might mean I need to actually pull back from something else. Kind of adjacent, something that Chris Williamson talks about, which is, can you be exceptional or be world class or the top of the world at a particular endeavor and still have fun doing it, right? And that's a balance. Here, what I'm talking about is a mere mortal. Can I be a great dad? Can I be a connected dad? Can I be a present dad while also being a really great podcaster, while also being great at running a business, while also doing X, Y, Z? I don't know. I don't know. And I think this is also something that, as a learning for anyone listening to this, you might be going through that particular challenge or balance of multiple roles. Just looking back foundationally, what truly matters, what really 25 years, 30 years from the future, we go back and go, that really, truly mattered that I did. If you're not thinking about it that way, hey, probably doesn't really matter. Eliminate it. Focus in where you can. Fourth, mindfulness and emotional intelligence. The note I took here actually was borrowing from Robert Greene, recognizing how crucial it's to understand human nature, especially starting with our own. And a lot of in 2024, I did a lot of learning of mindful and listening to what my monkey brain was saying, what my passionate side was saying. And again, having those deep conversations with close ones around you, my partner, my daughter, even though she's not speaking back, my parents, those being mindful of where you're placing your energy, what sort of conversations are happening, where I would have previously resulted to lashing back or talking in anger or talking in stupid manner just because I felt hurt or emotion was coming into it. Not to say it's bad, not to say it's a terrible thing. I'll probably lean towards be more emotional as opposed to less emotion. Yes, being less emotional means that you might be more rational, more logical, but I also see it in the sense of yes, but life should also be paired up with emotion, or else is it how much of life are you missing without that connection? There was a lot of that. There was a lot of that this year. Not that it's been different to previous years. It's always been an evolution. It's been about annual goals in the soul category now for multiple years. So just recognizing the fact that there was a lot of time and effort spent in being mindful in the emotional intelligence that is relationships and conversations, and wanting to do that into the future as well. And the fifth one that I put down here is adaptability. And there's the adage from Mike Tyson: everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And look, adversity reveals character. There's a book review that I will be doing. Sorry, not book review, book learnings that I'll be doing hopefully in a couple of days. Rereading Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Great, fantastic book. And I actually went through and made all the various notes for that particular book. And it's so true. The adaptability, once again, of throughout the year, right? Obstacles are to be expected. Obstacles are going to be apparent. They're going to be present. If you're going after anything significant, an endeavor that seems wickedly huge, big, hairy, scary goals, you're going to get obstacles, and they're going to get bigger the more challenging the thing that you're going after. And that's okay, right? And it's the power of being adaptable to both, I guess, the mindset of that, of, okay, expect that, right? What would you expect? Something that Hormozy talks about as well. Everyone wants the final paycheck or the final outcome that comes from something, whether it be the final money figure, whether it's a success, I can do double my body weight and whatever. But no one wants to pay the price, and part of paying a price is a realization that you have to be adaptable to do certain things to make it work. Case in point, today, on the start of this year, right? And I guess it's looking back at 2024, but some of the learnings and what I'm taking into 2025 is that I've actually put together a bit of a calendar around when I'm doing content that I want to do in a monthly basis. I wasn't doing that as much in 2024, and I had to be adaptable to that with a lot of the roles that I was playing. But in turns, it meant I deprioritized a lot of things that I was doing with the podcast. Now, case in point, today, right now, it's 7:35 p.m. as I'm recording this here in Brizzy. As I told you at the beginning of this, I'm an early bird person. I woke up today at 3:30 in the morning. So it was, for me right now, feels super late. But being adaptable to putting in a calendar, hey, this will work at this particular time. I'll be done probably in another half an hour in terms of getting the video, doing some editing, getting it ready to go. Awesome, right? Be adaptable to that. It's not to say be extreme every single day. That's not what I'm, putting out there. Some people can be, you can be the Goggins of going for it in terms of your work. Fucking go for your life. I'm somewhere in the middle. Again, I'm somewhere in the middle. But you need to be adaptable at the same time. So those are the 5 big takeaways, I guess, I got from 2024 in terms of a year in review, let's just say. Pause here. If you've got some other notes, thoughts, you do years in reviews, you don't know how you do them, all these sort of things, leave a comment, talk about it, share them with me, all that sort of stuff, right? Moving into 2025, one of the big things I want to do is build a bigger community of conversation, of topics, of ideas. When we started the podcast, The Mere Mortals, it was because the concept of being a mere mortal, being an individual we're not top of our class, we're not, world leaders in a particular thing, but we do enjoy a bit of a conversation. We do enjoy deep topics with a lighthearted touch. We do need it to also be community driven in that we want to talk to you. We want to converse with you. We want to hear from other immortalites, and joining in is part of this and telling us as well what you want to see from us definitely does help. So do so, do all the good things, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Before I get to my final thoughts, quick list of some memorable quotes as well that I pulled out. So sort of talk about it at the beginning that I wanted to call out is that in my journaling, so for those who might not be familiar, I do daily journaling. That's got a breakdown of a section for notes and I guess magical moments for my daughter, and I keep it on a daily basis. But for myself, I've got a sort of philosophical comment section that I try to maybe wrap up something that happened in the day, a thought, an idea that I just encapsulate. Again, this is borrowing from reading Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, and I really enjoyed the way that he put together all of his words and ideas into really concise ways. Then again, he wrote that not for public consumption. I'm not doing it necessarily for public consumption, but I've pulled out my best hits, let's just say, for 2024. And I thought it'd be fun to reread it. I'll give you a little bit of a note, maybe the meaning behind it, and I'll leave it at that and I'll sort of finally conclude it. And you can tell me what you thought about these particular ones. Some of these, as I reread them, I went, that actually makes sense. And sometimes it doesn't need to be. I guess it's because this is in the moment, right? This is a direct pull from some of my journals. I won't go into the actual days of this pulled out. So let me go through very quickly 14 of them, very of my memorable quotes from 2024. Number 1, true laughter cures 1,000 words, meaning there being laughter can resolve tension and conflict more powerfully than long-winded explanations. It's a reminder that genuine humor often repairs rifts better than endless debates. 2, don't be disappointed when your plan gets slapped around. That will happen, and it's no fault of the plan, right? Plan is going to get slapped, but it's not the plan's fault. And the meaning there is even the best strategies face setbacks. The real test isn't whether we encounter obstacles, but how quickly and calmly we adapt to them. Again, you can see the connections here back to my big 5. 3, it is not a shame to not unveil, is it not a shame to not unveil the maximum capacity of oneself? We often operate below our true potential. This line urges you and anyone reading it to challenge internal limits and aim for self-actualization. 4, when I was doing my disciplined things, that also lit the fire that burns in our souls to content. The meaning around that, discipline isn't a burden, but a spark that ignites fulfillment. Once we push through resistance, we discover how structure fuels our inner peace. 5, I prioritize my family and my daughter over just about everything. I am unashamed about that. Absolutely. Easy. Bold declarations of values, family first. For me, it underscores shaping your life around loved ones brings both purpose and grounding. I talked about it. Be unashamed. That's who I am. I'm a dad. It's very much number 1 alongside with my fitness and health. No anything else. The next one, 6, relationship matter, especially the ones that matter. So again, relationships matter, especially the ones that matter. Doesn't matter if you've got 500 relationships, now better than 0 relationships, but it's even more important that the ones that matter, man, you make some good effort to keep them going. So sounds obvious, but highlights the importance of them. 7, new experiences bolster life and secure that I'm not living a groundhog, repetitive, forgettable life. So meaning on that, routine can numb out sense of wonder. Stepping into the unfamiliar energizes us, making the more vivid and memorable. Life more vivid and memorable. 8, the success is in the work that you're avoiding. Do it. That's very Chris Williamson stolen. So often the tasks we procrastinate are exactly what we need to tackle to move forward. Lean into the discomfort. 9, age is just a number, but it transposes itself all too well in the body. Things that once were simple are no longer so. Don't dwell on what was, operate with the power in the now. It's a sobering look, and this is something that I'm finding more and more. I'm getting older. I'm not recovering as much as I once did. DOMs are taking longer for me to be able to get back and hit the workouts that I wanted. Insert everything else that everyone knows as he ages, but you don't really feel until it really impacts you. This is just a reminder. It's a reality. 10, calm and collected will beat out panicked and rushed, always. Maybe not immediately, but over the long game, it will. And the meaning there is a measured mindset outperforms frantic energy in the grand scheme. 11, concerned and anxious at the lack of control I have. Realistically, all the power is with me. We often underestimate our own agency, people. We underestimate it. Holy hell, we do. Realistically, all the power is with you for what you control and what you can't. Doesn't really matter. Let it go. 12. Sorry, 11. Concerned and anxious at the lack of control I have. Sorry. 12. Overwhelm to one person is a normal day for another. For the same person, what was overwhelming on a Tuesday might be par for the course on Thursday. Meaning stress relative, right? One day, you're swamped. Toddler screaming. You can't handle it. I can't handle it. I can't go and do the recording. Today, it was a pretty cruisier day, let's just say. I had my parents helping out with my daughter. I was able to do a hell of a lot of work at home. I'll be recording another episode tomorrow, but I also did 2025 calories as part of, 2025 calorie challenge. Awesome. I'm able to do all that stress. Other days, I don't. That's okay. A well thought out day results in some serious efficiency gains. Again, plan, be intentional about it. A lot of the learnings in 2024 is a lot of stuff did work, but where I saw that it didn't work, it's because I didn't plan appropriately. This is a learning that I get to eventually. Doesn't form its way in the short term, but in long-term games, man, it shows up. So well thought out day or well thought out plans have some serious efficiency gains, even if they get slapped in the face. And the last one here, sometimes you need to exert effort that the world allows you to, and where it doesn't, adapt. So meaning we can't always operate at full throttle, nor can we control all circumstances, recognize what's in your power, and adjust where it isn't. Be adaptable, adjust. And once again, now we're looking over into 2025. And I guess the biggest one, or at least the final sort of like little takeaway, I was sort of summarizing this whole thing is from Zeno of Citium, man conquers the world by conquering himself. And me immortalized, the biggest thing here for us to remember, especially for myself, is that the world is the world and there's not a lot of things you can do to affect it. Yes, you can become a billionaire like a lot of big people out there. You can become a knight. You can become a saint. You can become a sporting hero. And you will adjust a little part of the world and change this and adapt that. And I'm not saying you can have a positive effect in the world. I think most people can do that. But to conquer the world, that is a silly, stupid idea. You're not going to do that. And honestly, if you're calling yourself out, you're going to conquer the world in a realistic, like no nonsense, this rational answer you're giving. Maybe there's some deficiencies in your thinking because one, I don't know if that's the goodest thing you could be doing, but two, it's conquering yourself that you're probably more so after, right? Conquering your ability to do, to act, to, as some other people say it, you want to think and say and do, and you want all three of those to match them all, and you're in full alignment. And also, the closer you can get to thinking, saying, and doing, and actually executing on what you're doing, well, heck, that's way closer to the true meaning of power, right? Not omnipresence, but omnipower. There's probably another word for it. But omnipower, or to be a true godly power, is the ability to think and for it to be so, right? So as a human, as a mere mortal, we're probably not going to become to those God levels, right? Trying to push back past the mere mortal level, let alone God level. But if you wanted to get a little bit closer, you want to be able to conquer yourself. And that includes body, mind, and soul. So for me, it'll continue to be that into 2025 as I go through the rest of my annual goals. I'm going to pause there. I think it's been enough for a year-end review. I've kept it as close to all of the information that I've sort of put together. Again, if there's any thoughts, comments, leave them in all the good places that I've been sending it through. 2025 as well for the Mere Mortals we'll be doing. Trying out different things as we go into our 6th year of running the podcast. So if you've been along with us for a year more, fuck yeah. Good to have you here for 2025. And for the rest who are going to start coming on board over the next couple of days, weeks, months, years, hold on tight. We're going to have some fun. Immortalites, thank you very much. Be well. See you in 2025. One out.